Oh my gosh, crazy things are happening. I just realized I had this open on another browser on my phone, and so everything's screaming at me at once. Hey guys, and I haven't taken down the thumbnail yet. This is just exactly how I expected this to start. What's going on, Flickin' Fanatics? It is your host, Jesse Swift, here with another episode of the SWIFTWINGS Speakeasy after taking a hiatus for a multitude of reasons. Had a funeral, caught myself a little bit of the vid, if you know what I mean. And that lasted entirely too long, but I had my good co-host and friend here.
We're back.
Sean Wingblade was
back.
anxiously awaiting my return because it all hinges on me, who does nothing. All the hard work comes from this man right here.
We couldn't do just one of us, but we had to do one of it. I don't know. One of us was putting up stuff. I was trying. I was doing what I could with what I got.
You did great. Hey,
that's all I can say.
Since the last Speakeasy, I think I did a Miss Marvel reaction. So
yeah, you did.
I did at least one thing. Anyways, welcome one and all to the Whatever Show, where we talk about whatever we feel like, and we hope you'll throw money at us while we do it. No schedule, no rules, and no format. And if you can't donate, no pressure. We just ask that you do us a favor. If you're new to the channel, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're always notified of our uploads. If you are returning, please share this video and let us know in the comments that you did and where to. We'd love to get more rotations going on the Facebooks, and Twitter's is always good. Just getting out there to the social medias. The YouTube algorithm says that it likes Facebook likes, and I was like, well, nobody likes Facebook though. So
right.
All right.
No one watches Facebook. Have we ever had a commenter from Facebook?
No, not really. But I also haven't gone live on Facebook for a while. Maybe if I did that, it would be easier. I see Gio in the chat here.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Swift. Thanks, Gio. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Gio and Mr. Wingblade's review of Halo Episode 2 that just came out a couple days ago. Excellent job on that, guys.
Yeah.
And we will also be talking about Halo, which I just finished watching about 15 minutes ago to be prepared for this. And as you guys can see in the title, we're going to talk about Moon Knight. If you throw some money at Sean, he might talk about Morbius one more time before he never speaks about it again.
There was a song that came out about a year ago, and I believe the appropriate title was "We Don't Talk About Morbius." That should have been the title. I would like to go back and redub the entirety of that song. We don't talk about Morbius. I'm going to Oscar-fy the song.
So as they did. You're going to ruin my bit for tomorrow. So as you guys know, Saturday mornings, we have our news and views show, and we're going to be starting that at a new time because we got some editing work to do Saturday mornings. So now we're going to be pushing that up to 10 a.m., which might be better for some of you, hopefully everybody. But I bring that up because one of our topics is we don't talk about Ezra Miller.
We could just not talk about the slap. We could not talk about Ezra. We don't need to talk about Morbius. There's a whole lot of things we don't need to talk about.
There is. Exactly. Hey, Nerd Chronic, what's going on, Eric? We don't talk about Leto. No. Beautiful. Hey,
Buck, you were going to see Morbius, and then you just thought, no, I literally have anything else better to do with my life.
Dude, okay, so here's the thing. Is I was sitting on Morbius tickets for probably 2.5 weeks because I have the alarm set. When I see a movie that I'm going to see, I'm like set an alarm so it lets me know when tickets come on sale. And I have A-list, so it's not like I have to save up money for it. I got the alert and I was like, boom, got my Morbius tickets in an empty theater at the time. And then I kept contemplating all the way up until the day of release. And I finally said, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. What cemented that is that the Saturday prior, I was supposed to see Lost City with my wife, but caught the Rona, and so I had to stay home and cancel my ticket for that. So we ended up seeing Lost City Thursday night instead of Morbius, and no regrets.
No
was a lot of
regrets at
fun.
all.
If there's
I
an
lo- we
opportunity to talk
also
about that,
yeah
at some point during the show, I would love to do that.
we will talk about the charismaticness of Daniel Radcliffe. That's what I took out of The Lost City. Of course, we know Channing Tatum and Sandy B, but I love Daniel Radcliffe and seeing him in literally anything but Harry Potter because you get stuck in that mindset of just seeing. We all saw him grow up basically on screen,
Did,
but I just love when he has these like crazy kooky roles. It's fantastic.
did you laugh as hard as I did? It's kind of the third act of the movie. This isn't. Don't worry, guys. If you haven't seen Lost City, this is like no kind of spoiler. But I'll just say somebody falls to their death, and Daniel Radcliffe says, "Well, we're not going to go down and get him, are we?"
Yes.
And I broke
like, just keep moving. We're not gonna go down and
broke
get him.
several times. What's going on, Revisit? So, as you guys saw in our title today, 10 viewers, awesome. If we could double that and just make this the biggest speakeasy comeback thing ever, that would be awesome. If everybody
Fantastic.
shared this, we would get at least that probably.
I think the last thing we can very quickly move on from Morbius. This is definitely not the angle and the goal of tonight. Is
But
Morbius,
did you like my more BS joke? Because I thought it was hilarious.
Yes, I did like that. I thought that was hilarious. If I can say, I did do a quick spoiler review after the movie. You can obviously tell from the thumbnail that I had so much fun. So if you can, once you're done watching this video, hop over, give it a view, give it a like. We greatly appreciate it.
We do greatly
that's
appreciate
about the
it. Last
extent
time I
of
checked,
anything Morbius is good for.
yeah, last time I checked on it, it was somewhere around like 50 plus views or something like that. So you will hear me say multiple times tonight, double it. Every time we achieve anything, double it.
To speak to you, Eric, though, Leto was the best thing about the movie. Leto was great in the movie. It was everything around him, which was the problem. That's essentially.
Speaking of double it, I just checked our Streamlabs and we're currently at 0 for the day. So double it. Wait, damn, that's still 0.
I should probably open that up so we get sounds notifications.
Sounds are fun. Alrighty. Well, I'm trying to decide what to talk about. Let's talk about Halo first, because Halo is freshest in my brain. And you also did a review and got to hear feedback from Gio and what he thought and stuff like that. So I would be happy to have you take the reins. So, guys, if you're just joining us right now, we are going to be talking full spoilers about Halo Episode 2. If you're interested in the show and you haven't watched it yet, I recommend you come back in about 10 to 15 minutes when we wrap it up. We're going to share some thoughts for a little bit on what we thought of kind of the first couple episodes, because we haven't really come together and talked about the first episode yet. But anyways, with that, let us discuss Halo on Paramount Plus. And I all know you're borrowing accounts because nobody has one of their own. There's about 5 people that have Paramount Plus, and we're all using their accounts.
Basically, yes.
Sean, what's your, I guess maybe we should talk, what's your level of fandom with Halo? Because I consider myself probably even less than generic. I am a low tier, surface level, tip of the iceberg Halo fan.
I loved Halo since inception, since it came out way back whenever, 2002-ish. I don't know. I never looked up the date, but the original Xbox, it really hit stardom. I guess it really rocketed into the atmosphere. Pardon the pun, but because of the online multiplayer coming around the early 2000s and Halo 2 and having the multiplayer games, and there were still so many like LAN parties back then.
We've all stayed up until 3 a.m. Playing Slayer.
Oh, there were many a night where I was going to say call in sick, where I would just not go to school the next day. It was before I had a job.
I played so many school nights, and I was falling asleep in class because I was up until 3 a.m. playing Halo.
My mom got a flat screen very early on when they were still hella expensive, and it would do split screen. So I would watch Euro Trip on one half and play Halo 2 on the other half.
That is the most early 2000s thing, like in one capsule I've ever heard.
Just on loop. I fucking love Euro Trip. It's a great movie.
Oh, I almost, because you just made a Twitter comment about that, right? Like movies you've seen 20 plus times.
Yes.
I was in the middle of typing up a response to that, and I got distracted because I was going to say, this isn't where I parked my car.
This is definitely where I parked my car.
Anyways,
I
going
fucking love
into
that
the
movie.
show. So this is definitely a show that exists in the Halo world.
Sure.
And what it
I would hope so.
reminds me of is when there is a movie like, I don't know, Walking Tall with The Rock. There's a difference
Okay.
between based on a true story and inspired by a true story. And I think the Walking Tall one, they had to say inspired by because they changed so many things. And
Okay.
so far, what I'm getting in the show, but the point's coming, I promise, is the show feels
waiting for it.
inspired by Halo.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like it's based on much, and I don't feel I feel maybe the passion towards the popularity, but maybe not the passion towards the source material, which isn't necessarily prominent. When you have something that you're spending this much money on, you have to reach people more of an audience than just the players. The gamers represent a limited audience, and
Sure.
you have to get other people. So I think that's what they're going for. And I feel like them not firmly planting their foot on one side or the other is going to possibly end up biting them in the ass. I feel like they're not going super source faithful, like some of the Marvel stuff that we like, and they're not going wholly fresh. So it's also at the same point a little alienating to people that don't know anything about Halo. That's just my perspective. I really like the first episode, and I'm starting to feel concerns moving on to episode 2. Sean, what are some of your thoughts?
I completely disagree with you. In the sense that I think they'll alienate this or that or whatever, but I just mean in the sense of, so they did announce, or it was I don't know if it was a press release or if it was just someone doing an interview, but they basically said they did not pull from the story of the games at all, like in any way, shape, or form. But there are over like 30 Halo novels apparently, and I've never read any of them. I'm not a huge reader, so I've never like gone to get the backstory and the lore and what is the impetus of the entire Covenant War and the Flood and everything else that comes along with it. I've never gone and done that, so I don't know for 100% sure if they are following that storyline that was built in the novels with like John's backstory and his childhood and stuff like that. I don't know if they're going that way, but they definitely aren't following the games. It's not the story from the games that we know. I actually thought that would work better for an audience that isn't faithful to the games story-wise, because you're just taking it as it comes. Sorry, I had a burp. You're just taking it as it comes. It's all brand new. And I actually appreciated that, knowing the games as well as I did back then. And I kind of, it's been so long since I played the originals that it kept me on my toes. I didn't know what was coming next, especially all through the first episode and into the second one, which is much more of a character-based episode, right? There's not a whole lot of action going on in the second episode.
The most action is I'm gonna start calling him John because he feels like he's more John than like the Master Chief. Like, sure. I think we got some Master Chief in the first episode, but when he's got the helmet off and it's all exposition and character development, I'm like, okay, this is John. This is
John.
The most exciting thing was him pushing a Jeep to the side, and I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. We
got the execution scene with Venture, played by Bern Gorman, who's fantastic, creepy
Game of Thrones. He's a hot mess in that show. But I want to ride a simulator of the little cart that they had.
Yes.
That was like flying through the tunnel, launched out, grabbed onto a cable, shot out into space, and I was like, well, that's exhilarating.
I could just imagine that being a ride, 100%. Whether it, like, I got back from Disneyland a few months ago, and it's like you can just imagine just a simulated. You got a screen in front of you. You got, and it just lets you and it catches you somehow. I think that'd be fantastic. They could totally. Who owns Halo? Showtime, which is what, Viacom, I think, or something like that. Paramount, Viacom, Showtime. So who could they? I guess they would partner with like Universal or something to bring it to a Universal park.
Probably. I mean, Universal has rides based on like dead Warner Brothers properties. Like Universal can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So I am existing on the fence of this show, meaning that if I don't start feeling more passionate about it in the next 2 episodes, I feel like giving it about 2 more, then I might be out. But also, it could win me back. Because that's what happens when you really like something and then you're kind of wishy-washy on the second one. I'm like, okay, let's just kind of see where this goes. We will be talking about something that has quite the grasp on me immediately in what you would consider to be the pilot episode here shortly. And there's just going to be more and more content coming out and things to watch. So it's going to be harder and harder for shows to really demand my viewership. And like
give it the solid 1 month worth of the membership I signed up for. You got the 1 week for free from Paramount Plus, and then you're hooked into at least a month. You paid $5 unless you got the ad free, which are killing me. I might upgrade. I freaking they play 30-second ads every like 10 minutes. I'm like,
because it's honestly a 55-minute episode without ads. Like it's lengthy. So I'll give it the fact that they are doing what a lot of the higher budget streaming services are like afraid of, and they're giving full episodes.
Yeah.
Like damn near Game of Thrones length. Whereas like Moon Knight is like 45 with credits or something like that, low 40s. So I do appreciate that. I do feel like we're getting, when we get to the end of the episode, I'm not like, oh man, that went by so fast. I can't believe it's over. It's interesting they're going down this route. I would like to see some stuff with the flood, maybe find out more about this girl that has the ties in with the Covenant, and kind of with the way that they were doing some of the voiceover at the end of the episode seems like maybe has a tie with Chief as well. And gratuitous nudity at the end of the episode, because why not?
I don't think that was gratuitous. He barely saw a thing from a
Okay, let me take back the word gratuitous and just add in seemingly unnecessary. I'm like, and why is she?
Sure. Yeah, we didn't need to just spy on her, basically. I thought that was a little weird. Weird. I think
there's no story, there's no plot point to this. There's no. Go ahead.
It could pay off because we kind of see some scarring on her back and her shoulders. So maybe
the only way to see the scarring is a strip show,
basically. But it's maybe just to show, like, hey, she's been through some trauma, she's been through some physical, issues in the past, and I think that the reason that she apparently can communicate and or interact with the relic, I think it's called the Keystone, is and so can John, is because maybe they're related somehow. So I think the flashbacks that we're seeing from him are going to relate somehow to maybe in those family settings we're going to eventually see a sister or a twin of some kind, and they were torn apart. One of them was taken to UNSC, one of them by the Covenant, etc. So that's what I think is that's where they're going with that.
I was getting those vibes. I think I'm thinking with you here. So I think a part of the show, as it is with a lot of shows, is payoff's going to be a big part of it. So seeing where these things are heading is going to have a lot to do with it. I think I just wasn't really invested in the story of this episode, is what it boils down to, because it was very central to his friend from 22 years ago, I believe is what it was. And I wasn't buying into it. I was waiting to move on from that story.
Okay. You're just like, when is it? I kept thinking the shoe was going to drop, where he was going to turn them in. He was going to be a scumbag or something like that. Right. It seems by the end that, John says, hey, can I trust you? And leaves Quan behind. So I think that we're going to see, I was telling Gio this over on Apocalypse. If you haven't checked out Apocalypse movies, I'm doing reviews with Gio over there. And I think that's going to be the last time that we see Quan and John, at least in the same story thread. I think she's going to go her own way and maybe start a rebellion to go back and get her planet back and essentially take over her father's shoes and win it back from the Marines. That's kind of how I think. And maybe, Soren is going to be there to help her.
I'm kind of waiting for her to somehow, after learning to really trust John or something, get recruited into being a a new form of Spartan, because I don't think that she's ever going to work for like the UNSC, because they're mostly garbage.
Yes,
big
which is
power.
I think weird and hilarious at the same time. Ironic that the show itself is sponsored by the Marines, the U.S. Marines. And I noticed that at this episode, as the episode starts, sponsored by them, and then you're like, wait, you guys are portraying the UNSC as garbage people, like they're just out to destroy the galaxy and just be like a steadfast ruler. So I thought that was really weird. That was kind of an interesting dichotomy to like watch the show with, and that in my head. I don't know. That was weird.
This is a tad bit ironic. Any last thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
No, I dig the show. I really like it. I originally over on Apocalypse, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think I thought about it after sitting with it for a while, and I'm giving it like the series as a whole so far, 2 episodes in. I'm giving it like an 8 out of 10. I really like it, and I like that I don't know where it's going. I like that I know the game story, and I have no idea where the show is going to go, because then it's just not rehashing the same thing that's already in my head. There's no point to doing that with just better budget and graphics. It'd be pointless.
I will say, it looks all the CG looks really good. The practical goes back and forth. Like the set design's really good, but I couldn't stop looking at his friend's arm and how much it looked like a rubber appendage. And I was like, why does that look so bad? Because there's so many things that really do look good, I think. But yeah.
Let's check over here. Preston was saying he was watching a different channel. They were saying it is taking a lot from the novels. So there's a lot. And same thing Eric said, hey, Legends is rad. I haven't checked out any of the Legends books. So they could have an entire, anthology, I'm sure, of information. I just don't know. Exposure. Running over Master Chief and Hall in GTA 5. I haven't used that hack before. Red versus Blue is hilarious. Do you know Red versus Blue from Rooster Teeth?
I do know Red versus Blue from Rooster Teeth. And speaking of Red versus Blue, I'm wearing a shirt that has Red versus Blue on it right here. And if you guys want to get a sweater or shirt or anything with 4 beautiful people on it, our TeePublic link is in the description. And I would love to see pictures of people wearing Flickin' Real. It hasn't happened yet, but it would warm my heart and soul.
First game came out in 2001. Thank you, Buck. Appreciate it.
So did Sorcerer's Stone and Fellowship of the Ring and X-Men and actually X-Men might have been 2000.
No, you were wrong. cut this out.
Cut that out.
Eric, it was Any and Everything, Linkin Park, and whatever other analog pop punk band was around at the time. That's what songs I was listening to.
Well, speaking of great music, let's transition over to talking about Wham. And all right, so
we're talking about Wham.
Yes, we will. Moving on. Now we are going to be talking full spoiler mode into Marvel's Moon Knight, episode 1, starring Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, and that's pretty much it right now, right?
I mean, for the most part, we have Ephraim Ray Abraham playing the voice.
Thank you. I was trying to remember the name.
Khonshu,
you got it right, yeah.
Okay, I got it right.
The Egyptian moon deity. Directed by Mohammed Diab. Did I get that one right? I think so.
Sure, I don't know.
I think so. Anyways, this
I don't have. I should have the cast list pulled up. I don't have
it. For both of us and for the channel as a whole, Moon Knight has been highly anticipated. Probably mostly by our channel expert, Allison Salamoni, who has taught me everything I know about Moon Knight. She is just obsessed and has been following the character for decades. So it's really, really disheartening that we don't have her on the show tonight to discuss her thoughts. But
in fact, everyone watching, if we can, go to Twitter while you're watching. Tweet at Allison Salamoni. It's her name. You'll look her up. I'm sure you might be following her. And just tell her that you're excited to hear her teachings and her wise wisdom when it comes to Moon Knight. Maybe put in like the Doctor Strange gif where he's like, teach me. When he's talking to the sorcerers. Do that,
Absolutely.
and let's let her know that we're thinking about her, because she's probably sleeping because she's 3 hours ahead of us right
I would love for her to wake up and be like, "What? Why?
now. What?
For why?"
Why
All
did
right.
20 people tweet me?
Well, I have watched this episode twice, but not as recently as you have watched it a second time.
Mhm.
And we haven't talked about it a whole lot. I feel like I've talked with several people about it, but we haven't had the opportunity to. Again, if you guys didn't know already, we are going into spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, please come back and revisit. We will also be posting this as a separate video, but we're going to spend probably at least 15 minutes discussing this pilot episode and if it hooked us, if we're engaged, what we look forward to seeing. Sean, what are some of your first thoughts coming out of this episode? Where does it rank among? I'm not, because some people are like, "Oh, best Marvel show of all time." I'm like, relax. Where does it rank on the episode ones? I think that's a fair comparison. I like comparing pilots.
Telling people to relax might be underrated, because, like, hey, we've had 42 minutes of this guy. Let's calm down for a second.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, it might be my favorite. It might be my favorite of the Marvel Disney Plus shows that have come out. Episode ones, right? The introduction to the character and the intrigue, because I'm not usually a horror guy. We've talked about this before. We did a review of, what was it, House on Haunting Hill, or what was the one you did with Video Drew? And I was
Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass. I was sitting here the whole time.
Sean, wait,
no,
pause.
I
Can you get around to watching Midnight Mass, please?
No, absolutely. I have so many other things to watch right now. But I'm not usually a horror guy. I don't gravitate towards those types of movies. The creepiness of this and the horror aspects, because they were mild, they weren't like, it wasn't like super scary. I wouldn't mind showing it to my kid. I dug it. It gave such a
it's creepy in the way that Supernatural is creepy. Like, I wouldn't call Supernatural
and I dug Supernatural.
A horror show. Like, it's
Sure.
creepy, but it's not like horrific, I don't think. And I think it had some elements of that with a little bit more of a budget.
Yeah, I agree. It was intrigue. It was mystery more than creepiness and scariness. It kept me on my toes, and I had no idea, because I don't have the experience with the character Moon Knight. Reef
Like
is
Allison
masked.
does.
Reef is masked. What was our introduction? This was my introduction. This was it. Other than Jesse and Allison just like hammering the backstory into me over the past few
Moon
months.
Knight, I'm not going to like play face and say that I am an expert at all things Moon Knight. I used to listen to John Schnepp on like Collider Movie Talk, Collider Heroes stuff, talk about Moon Knight.
Shout out to the Big Sweaty.
Big Sweaty, rest in peace, man. And Moon Knight was a character that visually always appealed to me. And yeah, people are like, it's Marvel's ripoff Batman, which I think people can now start putting a squash on that argument, because he's definitely a very different character.
Very, and we haven't really met Mark yet, but
Right.
yes, meeting Steven, very different character, and that's all I had ever heard was Marvel's Batman, because he's dark and he jumps rooftops at night. But yeah, continue.
I used to play a game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, and Moon Knight was in it. And even though I knew nothing about Moon Knight, I played as him all the time because he was super badass, and I just thought he was a really cool character. And obviously, because Moon Knight was announced, so many videos started popping up exploring his origins and stuff like that. So I have become much more well-informed about Moon Knight in the last 12 months. I think he's fascinating, and there's several different depictions of him, and the show seems to be an amalgamation of a lot of different ones. When he first burst onto the page in Werewolf by Night, he was definitely intentionally kind of a Batman ripoff. Right. And then, much like what happens with a lot of characters, he was expanded upon, and new origins came out, new power set, and things like that. And I like exploring the mental aspects, like not only the mental illness, but the fact of like, is Khonshu real? Is this deity real? Does Moon Knight actually have powers, or what's in his head, what's not? And I think that's a lot of fun and something to explore, and something we've never seen really in comic book material. And I liken this first episode to my favorite pilot episode so far, which is actually WandaVision. I was on board with WandaVision quicker than most people were, I think, right away, because the questions that it asked. And Loki had some of those too. Loki had, I think, a pretty strong episode 1. But for me right now, I think I'm tempted to put Moon Knight above WandaVision, but it's hard because WandaVision gave us 2 episodes at a time, right? And so to me, those 2 episodes were the pilot.
Sure.
So if we're going 1 versus 2, I say WandaVision. If we're only doing the first 30 minutes of WandaVision and Moon Knight, I'll go Moon Knight. So that's my, excuse there. But I like having this many questions and seeing a mystery unfold. And I think this mystery is more interesting than the one we've gotten in Loki or Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that it doesn't seem like there's a curtain to be pulled, though. And we have Arthur Harrow and Ethan Hawke right off the bat, and we're getting to learn about him. They had a lot of ground to cover because this is not Wanda. This is not Loki. This is not a character we've had time with. So we had to be introduced to them, hint at their past, hint at the villain. It had to do a lot, and I think it did it all very well. And I'm prepped and amped for episode 2.
And they had the task of making a villain out of, and this is what I'm gathering from other reviews, a villain that wasn't really a villain.
Yeah.
Other than an issue, like a single issue of the comic. This guy he studied pain tolerance, and he was a fan of the Nazis. Like, that's essentially what I gathered from other reviews, where Arthur Harrow is not a big force. He's not like he's not Moon Knight's main nemesis, right? He's arch nemesis throughout the series. He has other villains, and not a huge rogues gallery, but other villains that he deals with.
His most well-known villain, I believe I don't think I have it quite right. It's like Bushman or something.
Bushman. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bushman. There was too many comparisons to the Killmonger character, and I think especially the Michael B. Jordan version of Killmonger. And from what I've learned of the character, I think that is true and fair that they wanted to go a different direction. And even though Arthur Harrow does originate from the comics, for all intents and purposes, he's a new character. Like, they really had taken nothing but his name from the comic.
Was Bushman the same guy that was in Luke Cage? What was that?
Bushmaster, I think.
Bushmaster, right? Okay. Right. I was getting those confused. I thought they were the same person. I was way off.
Which is Luke Cage season 2. Yeah. So, anyways, that's my long-winded. I think the original question was like, what was your introduction to Moon Knight? Blah blah blah. John Schnepp, something. Learned a bunch. Really liking it so far. I have heard from some of the people that have watched the first 4 episodes that there is an inclination of a possible drop-off in quality. I'm hoping that's not true. I'm going to judge it on its own merits and what I think about it, because it absolutely has me. And I think the Marvel shows haven't been home run after home run. I loved WandaVision. I really liked Loki. Falcon Winter Soldier let me down in like the second half of the season. What If is very sporadic as far as its highs and lows. So it's been a bit all over the place. So if we could have another one that I even end up really liking, I will be happy. And I think at the end of the day, getting Oscar Isaac and Stephen Grant and Mark Spector introduced into the MCU is already a big win. And see where they take the character next.
What I was hearing from shout out to Monty at the Montyverse, Jake Lachlan, I believe, is his other possible.
Lockley. He was a cabbie when he was originally, and this was before they did the dissociative identity disorder, and he chose 3 identities. Like he has a Stephen Grant identity, and it's like he's 3 different kinds of being undercover. And later on down the road, these identities that he created became actual, like, self-sustaining separate identities when they started getting into the mental illness aspect. Sorry, go ahead. Hawkeye. No. I knew I was forgetting a show, and it was Hawkeye, because Hawkeye is so damn forgettable. It is. I got nothing.
Yeah. Well, let's get in. What about the episode itself, like the actual content of the episode, much less the character? Well, so we see him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying we meet him, and obviously from jump, like, I wasn't sure if he knew he was dissociating, or if he just thought like, oh, I'm sleepwalking, because he's strapping himself to his bed. He has a sand crescent moon, it looks like, around his bed, and tape on his door, right? He's doing all these precautions to make sure he knows whether he got up in the middle of the night and hopefully what he did. maybe setting up a camera would be a good idea. It might, lead to some revelations, but apparently he didn't decide to
On a
do that.
gift shop employee's budget, he can afford a prime steak, but not.
He does have that. He does have that Razor flip phone hidden in his cupboard. So maybe this is set in the mid 2000s. I don't know. This is set in 2009. So I wasn't sure if we were jumping right into him knowing about kind of what's going on, or if we're gonna find out alongside with him. And apparently we're finding out alongside with him, because he goes to work. He's obviously very timid, shy. He's getting pushed around by his boss, by the security guard, who's just like laissez-faire about like life. And then even the little girl just like dogging on him. She's like, "Oh, did it hurt when you got denied into the afterlife?"
What's a trip for me is my wife is currently like marathoning the Night at the Museum movies. So to go from Night at the Museum to Stephen Grant working at the museum, I was like, ooh, crossover.
Do you have Rami Malek playing Imhotep or someone, or the Pharaoh?
Wrong Egyptian person, but I mean close enough.
Yeah,
Anox-in-the-Moon.
Anox-in-the-Moon.
Nope, I don't know.
Anox-in-the-Moon.
Exactly. I enjoyed his coworker, boss person, Donna. I love anything to do with mythology, whether it's Greek, Roman, Norse, Egyptian. You cannot give me enough god lore. I love that stuff. So hearing about Amet, which I really like when we get the flash of Stephen Grant waking up in what I assume to be like the Alps or something, and it
looked like Switzerland or something.
Yeah, and he sees Arthur Harrow like judge the two people with the tattoo and the alligator scales. Which, by the way, please give me a Later Gators shirt with Stephen Grant on it, or Steak Time.
Can we point out that the people in the crowd like, hey, did Arthur just killed a guy? Like she's dead. Like she just got drained of her life force. Right.
With the way they treat him, I'm thinking this is a daily occurrence.
Yeah. Right. No, she wasn't worthy. I don't know what to say. I guess there's another one. Toss her back.
Yeah, and I did like the callback to that scene when he tries doing it to Steven, and the scales just keep tipping because it's chaotic. He's got so many different things happening in there. It's hard to judge. What were some of the highlights for you? I mean, I love the car chase and it going in and out of perspectives, or I guess not really perspectives. It's always Steven's perspective because we miss the Mark half.
Yeah,
Jesse Godlore Swift is actually let's keep that up here.
I liked F. Murray Abraham as Khonshu coming in and just ragging on him. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm nuts is back.
Go back to sleep, worm.
Go back to sleep, worm.
Really quick, we do have a Streamlab from our good friend Kubishinkin Anatoly. Tipped in $5, and if you guys don't know, that is a beautiful running joke that I will never tire of. The night is not moon, where Allison is. Moonfall did not set up show. I 100% agree. Thank you so much for your donation. Hopefully we get more into the Moonfall lore in episode 2. As you were, Sean.
I was just saying, I like that it gave me Venom vibes, because that's just the most recent thing I think where we're seeing this, conscious, I guess, for lack of a better word, over speaking our main character. But it was the best parts of that vibe from Venom. They were pulling it off in a much better deal.
So,
but much better way.
My favorite Easter egg that I found out, not a lot of people are talking about this. Did you see that in that final scene where we have Moon Knight beating the shit out of a jackal, which I took personally, you can actually see the brand of boots that he's wearing?
No, I definitely didn't see that.
They're Con shoes.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm kidding. Con shoes.
Oh, right. Okay. Anyways. I thought you could see the stitching or something.
No, I was trying to make a good joke. Anyways, April Fools, please don't unsubscribe. Oh, Sean. Yeah, just.
Sorry.
Man, Wednesday can't come soon enough. What's today? Friday? Counting down.
You know, speaking of which, I did a. Let me find it. Boom!
He'll
I
get
stayed
there.
up. I don't know if I'm going to do it again, but I did stay up. Go back and watch our my live reaction. I sat there, I watched it. There was a timer on screen, so if you want to rewatch the episode, watch it with me. Just sync up. It's easy to do. I was exhausted the next day, and I couldn't sleep that night. Maybe I had too much Monster or something on the way.
So
to
currently, that
watch
along is sitting at 85 views, which is very awesome. I would say if you guys can, even if you just pop on there for a few minutes, if everybody watching and you guys can share that link and stuff, if we can get that over 100, not only will Sean stay up to do episode 2 watch along, I just might pop in and let's see if we can get over 100 again after that. So about 15 more views on that one. Double it. Hashtag double it.
I thought you were just signing me up for this, and I was like, you know what? I'll try, man. I'll try if I can. I don't know if I can do it.
Anyway, so thank you guys for that have already been joining us. And if you haven't hit the like button already, please do that. Any last thoughts about this first episode and things that you liked? And you guys in chat, feel free to tag in with whatever stood out to you. I love the accent. I know some people are dogging on it, but
I think that we are going to find out that Mark, one, the postcards, right? He has postcards all over his apartment, and other people pointed this out. These are not my ideas. I'm stealing other people's ideas, but I'm gonna admit it. He has postcards in his apartment, and he's leaving voicemails for his mom, who obviously doesn't want to answer the phone. I don't think either of those things.
Somebody was like, who is he talking to when he's talking to his mom? It's like, it's voicemails. He's not talking to anybody. I don't know who's calling, but
right. I think that could be like Mark's way of setting up so that he can still keep tabs on Steven and figure out what he's been doing throughout the day.
Mark has much more of a hold of what's going on with Steven than vice versa.
Exactly. So I think that will be, and I think
cracks open and I get 2 cats in here.
I think we're going to find out that Mark has been using Steven as a cover of sorts to maybe try to find out more about the scarab that obviously Arthur Harrow is after. And maybe he's like, oh, I need to get a job. What better at a museum where I can learn about this thing, where I can get close to it. Maybe he was trying to steal it, etc. And he is going to be like, oh yeah, no, that's a fake accent. Like, I just made that up. And everyone's been bitching about this English accent. Oh, it sounds so bad. Well, yeah, because he's not an English person.
Right. It would be like if we had an English identity.
Yeah.
But we did not spend our lives in English, so our
cheerio, mate.
Yeah, our accent would
be
Maddie ask me our attempt at, let's go back to Schmodown auditions when I tried to poke fun at a friend of the show, David Campbell, and throw a Scottish Irish or Scottish accent in there for a couple seconds. It's offensive. It's not good.
It's just not. It's just no good. And no one will ever see that video. Yeah. Or is it still posted in the Facebook group?
It's. I'm not going to tell people where they can find it. Say, did you guys like Moon Knight? Where's it ranking for your episode 1s of the MCU shows? Are you looking forward to the next episode? And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I want to see more Khonshu. I know that did you say Bryant Brawler is Preston? Did I get that right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Said I really appreciate the design of Khonshu. I do as well. And some people are complaining about the CGI. I think the CGI is mostly good. It's not always good, but it's mostly good.
It's not perfect all the time. I thought it was just fine. It was good enough.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, then I guess we are moving on now from Moon Knight. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we will be cutting this out and posting it separately. Thank you so much for being a part of our Moon Knight review. Nice, short, simple, to the point. Look at that. We've talked about like 3 things. We're like 45 minutes in. Now we can do a little something I like to call It Doesn't Matter. It's my favorite part of the show.
It doesn't matter. We can let loose.
What's your name?
Even
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Well, like, okay, so what Preston is saying, like his CGI standards are low. I think everyone's CGI standards are way too freaking high. Like, calm down. You kind of know the kind of shit that they're just making up and putting on screen. I think we'd all love if every show was filmed in front of the what is it called, the volume, right, that they're using for like Mandalorian and Boba
Well, that's
Fett.
the thing, is like all the sets
But I can imagine
are great. And Mandalorian doesn't actually, might surprise people, but like doesn't use a heck of a lot of CGI. Like it's a lot of people in costumes. Right. It's either a lot of like the volume or like sets and stuff. And like Book of Boba Fett, when they do use CGI, you get big CGI creatures and stuff. Mm-hmm. You can tell. I think it shows up.
Right.
I think some of the only stuff that was a little off was like the logs scene. I mean, yeah, we're still talking about Moon Knight a little bit, but I thought the jackal worked. Anyways,
yeah.
I don't know. Until they do something really egregious, I'm going to be pretty forgiving of something that I'm getting straight to streaming. And some people are like, it's a movie budget. It's not a movie budget. It's a movie budget stretched out over 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever.
Right.
So your per hour budget is much smaller, probably close to half of what you get movie. Because an average Marvel movie is somewhere around $200 million for 2 hours. Anyways, anywho, I saw Lost City, The Lost City, with Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, and Daniel Radcliffe, and Brad Pitt, who shined in that movie, to the surprise of no one.
So the way they made him seem in the trailers was that he was going to be a surprise and just hop in randomly, and then I figured he wasn't going to last long. Not last long like what happened to him. Spoilers.
Yeah, I was like, well, spoilers.
He's around at the end. Spoilers.
Double spoilers now.
You haven't seen The Lost City. She called it. She knew.
Yeah, like after he got So I mean, this is a romantic comedy adventure thing. Like I don't really know what could really be spoiled for it, but if you guys are concerned about Lost City spoilers, warning, I guess.
Warning.
But no, yeah, like right after, like a couple minutes after he got shot, Lauren leaned over to me and she's like, "He's not dead." I was like, "He doesn't look too good."
He doesn't look good. He looks pretty bad. There's blood everywhere.
As we Step Brothers. Oh God, there's blood everywhere.
Oh God.
No more power tools. It's okay, we're done.
I thought it was great, and I was fully expecting Chris Hemsworth to show up. Like I was just imagining a scenario where all of a sudden they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, hey, my brother came to rescue. He's dead. I'm here to finish the job," or something like that was gonna happen.
The physical comedy was really good. I'm hearing some people that even liked the movie saying that there was zero chemistry between Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. I disagree. Mm-hmm. I think like it's not, something that's going to go down in history as like most romantic couple, but I thought it was palpable. I could feel it. It wasn't.
If I were to rate my two most, I guess three, you can go throw Benjamin Bratt in there. I would give Ryan Reynolds, and then Benjamin Bratt, and then Channing Tatum would be third. If I were to rate my Sandy B couples that I can remember off the top of my head.
Your Sandy B couples.
Sandy B couples. I'm trying to think of another. Well, I guess Speed. We got Keanu. Who was in? Was it Harry Connick Jr. in? Was like 28 Days? Is that the movie she was in? Come on, someone in the chat knows. Where's our rom-com people out there that like Alcoholics Anonymous movies? Is that what the? I can't remember. I don't know all of her people. But what was the what's the country singer that was in The Blind Side?
The Blind Side. Okay, I went completely. I was thinking of A Star Is Born, and I was like, Chris Christopherson was in one with like.
It was AJ. It was definitely not 28 Days Later.
That's what I was thinking.
A very different movie. Tim McGraw. Thank you, Reef. Tim McGraw was in The Blind Side.
Oh, another Streamlabs from good friend of the show that I need to come up with something else to say. All right. Associate of the show.
A great person all around.
Yeah, all around good person. George of the Jungle.
Lancaster.
AJ Lancaster. Go ahead, read it out, Sean.
So after Moon Knight, I want a whole DID character verse. Specifically, give me Marvel's Sentry. Jesse, go. Marvel's Sentry.
Superman guy.
What?
He's like Marvel Superman.
Icarus?
Like he's got long blonde hair and a very yellow outfit with a big S on it, and he's one of those characters that they could never figure out what to do with, because when you get that like god tier level strength, it's like I don't know what to do with him. Okay. I don't know a lot about Sentry. Like I really, being transparent, don't. He's just you know.
Okay, well you failed me then. Okay, that's fine.
You know what's funny? He's basically Marvel's Superman, but he looks like Nuclear Man.
You know who else has long blonde hair and is Marvel Superman?
Oh, yes. You're
guy.
Absolutely correct. Sean Hemsworth.
That's exactly where I was going with it.
So what movies have you guys seen? I want to hear. We have. I don't know how to pronounce that. Is that?
I think I believe she goes by Lego. Is that right? Tell us.
Dude, Sentry is awesome.
Thank you for
showing. Plus, you get the Void too. Now, the only reason I know about the Void is because Lauren has re-addicted me to Marvel's Contest of Champions, and I've been going horde, and I have the Void on that game.
What is Marvel's Contest of Champions?
Only like the best app out there ever. Duh, and Lego knows what I'm talking about. Andy says he fights Hulk in World War Hulk. That's the main place I've seen him. And then Ambling says former Contest of Champions addict here. Get back into it, man. My strongest character right now is the Night Monkey version of Spider-Man from Spider-Man Far From Home. Kicking ass. Join my alliance. Let's get the whole private chat going. Join some alliances and get punchy.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I'm Googling Marvel. Is that
so? It's an app game that plays kind of like a simplified version of side-scrolling, like Mortal Kombat. You know, you go through and you level up your guys, you unlock champions and stuff. And full disclaimer, I have never spent $1 on the game. It's very easy to spend money on that game, but I have.
I can imagine.
Avoided it like the plague.
Right.
I cannot say that about Pokemon Go. I've definitely spent money on Pokemon Go.
Preston, I appreciate you always throwing the biddies at us.
Hey.
I appreciate you, bud. If I knew how to ever cash those out,
I'd like to see your biddies, right? Is that right? Did I say that right? I don't know how to Twitch.
Yes. We like to see your bits. No, that didn't sound even better. That didn't sound any better. On Twitch, you can cheer with bits. They're little like diamond things. Cheryl knows. Let's see the biddies.
Biddies.
What did you say? The last movie I saw was Jujutsu Kaisen not too long ago. Good watch. Oh, I know nothing about most anime.
What movie I'm going to go see next week that I've been eagerly anticipating? Frustratingly so, because it actually came out like a week ago, but nowhere around here. And it was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay. With Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. I saw the trailers for it and I was like, A24 is 50-50 for me, not in quality, but just kind of an interest. But half the stuff they come out with, I'm like, ooh, that looks really interesting, like Lighthouse and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that was one of those ones where I was like, ooh, yeah, I want to see that. And the reviews have been spectacular. And I kept seeing ads for it. It's like, out now, not around here. And
Jamie Lee Curtis was in it too.
Yes, Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she's like plays kind of a villainous role. But it hits wide release April 8th. I was like, great, it'll be around here April 8th. And so I looked it up. Still not my closest theater. I'm going to have to drive a little bit to go out and see it. But I did get my tickets for it on April 7th. And I'm hearing nothing but good things. It's like in the 90s, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm going to brutalize his name, but it has Ki Hui Kwan, who played a Short Round.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and Data and Indiana Jones and the Goonies.
Hey, how about that? There's somebody in the waiting lobby that waited for us to finish talking about our reviews and stuff so he could very politely find his way into the show. Would you like to give introductions to...
Well, I was going to say, you know who else isn't short round? This guy.
Yo.
What's up, Mr. Chris? How we doing tonight, buddy?
Flicking Reel's very own box of scraps. What's up, Chris?
What's happening, party people? What's good?
We're chilling. We're doing reviews and hanging out. You know how we do on a speakeasy night.
Talking about what was that movie called again, Jesse?
Just Now, the one I was talking about?
Yeah, the Jamie Lee Curtis.
It's like Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I feel illiterate every time I say it because I think I'm mixing something up. But whenever I talk to Lauren, I reference it as the Michelle Yeoh movie.
I mean, that works.
I think she knows she is. Yeah.
No, but apparently it's the greatest multiverse story movie ever. That's how
I love that. That's how they're marketing it. I was like, you cheeky bastards, because it comes out like a month before Multiverse of Madness, right? and like 4 months after Spider-Man.
Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe Doctor Strange is just a tub of shit, and we just don't know.
I've seen several people say that it's their favorite movie of the year so far. So,
word. I might have to go check it out. I was supposed to go see Morbius tonight. And then
you thought better of it.
And then I work in a couple hours. Like I'm actually I can't stay for too long. Gotta go to work in like an hour. But what's going on, Jake? But I chose to sleep longer instead of going to see Morbius, and I don't regret a word.
No. Did you see my review of Morbius?
I did not. Did you poo-poo it?
Or my thumbnail of Morbius.
I don't even need to watch the review. Your face says enough.
You could watch it and then click the like button. But,
speaking of spoilers and spoiler reviews, I am going to spoil for everyone right here that we're going to be seeing Chris back in approximately 12 hours.
Yes.
After work, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Chris
and I will still be awake. No sleep between now and tomorrow.
No sleep till news and views.
No sleep till news and views.
Chris, what are you doing overnight? Are you running like a radio station, right?
Yeah, I'm an AP for WBBM News Radio out here in Chicago.
That's a lot of acronyms.
WBBM.
Yeah, WBBM, and I'm out
here. But I'm APB on the WBBM.
Yeah, don't do that. But so I go in the mornings from at least for the month of April, Fridays and Saturdays. So I'm gonna be doing this for the whole month of April, and I'll cry about it later. It's no big deal.
Gonna be talking some RIPD, applying to the BPRD.
Dude, speaking of RIPD, I don't want to go too much on it because I watched the first half hour of it a couple days ago, and it is I hated every second of it.
Yeah.
I haven't felt that much rage about a movie.
2 or 3 weeks ago, I watched it for the first time.
Mm-hmm. What? And so you got through it. Good for you. I had to turn it off.
I couldn't stand it. But yeah.
It was horrible.
Well, you missed the Kevin Bacon bits. The real good Kevin Bacon bits.
Well, Kevin Bacon. I love Kevin Bacon. I love Ryan Reynolds. I love Jeff Bridges. But holy shit, I could not stand that movie.
You heard it here first, folks.
But he hated Mary Louise Parker. He said, "Fuck her."
Sean, stop stealing my jokes. Sean's out here stealing my jokes all night. I had a joke about we don't talk about Ezra Miller, and he made it about something else.
Yeah,
we don't talk about Leto.
Yeah, dude. Again, I don't want to. I mean, Morbius just came out, and some of us have seen it, and some of us haven't. But I had a few buddies of mine go see it, and it was bad when my buddy, who's a 30 Seconds to Mars guy, he's like, "I have a real big bias for Jared Leto, so 6.5 out of 10." I'm like, that's still not good.
Well, I think you guys have probably seen it. My
Leto
tweet
is good. I was just gonna say Leto's great in the movie. It's everything around him that is.
Well, it's like I don't think Tom Hardy could save the Venom movies. Like I think he's fine in those movies, but doesn't fix.
I'll defend the first Venom. It's not bad.
One of my favorite tweets that I saw today, and you guys might have seen it too, is they said after seeing Venom, they're not sure they like movies anymore.
Damn.
It should ruin everything. It's like it's over. We're done. We can't. There's nothing else we can do about it.
I just want to take a note and say that we have 16 live viewers right now. That's awesome. Earlier I said let's try to get to 20 because that would be like one of the biggest speakeasies ever. And the hashtag we're trying to get going is hashtag double it.
Double it.
Double it.
Double it.
Reef, I loved the first season. I'm about 4 episodes behind on season 2. I think we're like 8 episodes into the season or so, but it's great.
I really liked the first episode. It's what I
like of the whole series.
The first episode. You got some catching up to do.
Season 1 is very good. Like
hey,
I thought it was very good.
Why get caught up on Superman and Lois when I can just arbitrarily watch all of his Dark Materials in a weekend like I did a week ago?
That's what you do when you got the vid, man.
You
watch his Dark Materials.
Yeah, I mean,
Lin-Manuel Miranda. Isn't James McAvoy's in that too, isn't he?
For 3 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Better than nothing.
I thought he was. I mean, it's still ongoing. It's not like he like dies off or anything, but like you start the season with him and he disappears until like the last 2 episodes. And it's like, oh, okay.
Is he playing the Daniel Craig role from the movie?
Yeah, and I haven't seen Golden Compass, but I did, for comparison's sake, look up the casting. And I was like, wait, Sam Elliott and Lin-Manuel Miranda are playing the same character?
Yo, that's rad.
It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. I like the show, though. It's a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of Lock and Key a little bit.
We're talking about Superman and Lois still, right?
No, I was putting a kibosh on. I watched some Bizarro stuff from that and some of the Doomsday thing that they did, and it looks good. I think I'm just mad at Superman stuff right now, so maybe I'm just bitter. I just want Henry.
He
back.
Still hasn't seen Superman the motion picture, and he's wondering when it's going to be
released. Oh, damn! That was like a year ago, dude.
All right. Well, do we? So we were supposed to have. Speaking of Shimoda, we were supposed to have Friday Night Titans tonight.
We're supposed to, yeah.
We're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And some people that have Patreon may have seen something, but I don't think I can talk about it because it was supposed to be on tonight.
We don't talk about Schmodown. No,
there are some things we don't talk about. It's Morbius, and it's Bruno, and it's the first half of Titans.
It's Morbius, Bruno, Jada Pinkett Smith, and the first half of Titans.
Well,
hey,
at least
keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth.
Keep my wife's name. No, but Superman and Lois, I very much enjoyed the first season. Like, I liked it a lot. And maybe I didn't know, Jesse, if it was because like the CW, if you were all CW'd out, which I know that's a thing now.
No, I think it's far superior to everything the CW has going on right now.
Yeah.
I think I was given by Superman and then had them taken from me. And I'm feeling.
Oh, you're talking about Cavill?
Yeah, and I think also part of it is I don't, and maybe I just need to give it another shot. I don't think I'm invested in where this show takes place in the story of Superman.
Sure.
Sure. And that's, again, I don't have any qualms about the quality of the show. I really don't. I just, I was having a hard time having it grab me because I wanted to see something else. If that makes sense.
Some of the CW-ness of the show, meaning like following around the kids, it may be the least part on the totem pole. Doesn't mean I don't like it. It's just the least of the things I do like, type of thing. But I do enjoy seeing stories that I don't know because I'm not huge in the comics. I love my Superman, as you can tell right over here.
Preston's asking me how long I'm going to be in mourning.
Until it's confirmed.
I have been to give you a hint, I have been defending Man of Steel for now 9 years, almost a decade. So if you think my mourning is going to be done anytime soon, you're wrong.
I'm with you there on the Man of Steel defense, dude. I'm right there with you.
You're in good company right now.
And then like Birds of Prey came out, and I'm like, "Ooh, that movie's really good." And I was like, And then like Shazam is very good. I was like, that's not. Yeah.
Did you guys hear what David F. Sandberg said recently in regards to Superman?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. I just want it known that I'm liking people less as the days go by.
It's crazy how Warner Brothers is having the hardest time with DC's titular character. Like, yeah, Batman's there, Batman's great, and they've done the character 1,000 times. But Superman was like,
But even that they can't
the
get a
first
grasp
guy.
on.
Superman was
As
the
much
first guy.
As much as I love, and I love to see that reefism, as much as I loved the Batman, and I really loved the Batman, they still, how many Batmans have we gotten in 15 years?
It's valid.
You know, and I'm just like, can we
9.
let's stick to something.
I mean,
Right.
they're I think, what was it, like it's been a while now, but that Michael B. Jordan, what was it, Val Zod show?
Yeah.
Like that's cool, like that's rad. But you want like Kal-El, Clark Kent, Henry Cavill's Superman. I feel that.
Yeah, I just really like and I don't love I'm not a diehard like live and breathe Snyderverse person. I'm just a big fan of Man of Steel. Like I address the big issues that BVS had, even the Ultimate Edition, which is much better.
Yes,
but it's got a lot of issues, and the Snyder Cut as well, much improved, but overindulgent and filled with issues.
Man of Steel is awesome. Man of Steel, awesome. The issue is not, hey, we don't get Henry Cavill anymore. If it is what it is, it is what it is.
right.
They're not telling us.
Right. They're not telling us. And
they're stringing us along. They're keeping the universe going. The universe that Cavill started, and they're completely ignoring him. And that's and we don't need to talk about Ezra of it, but in Flashpoint, they're essentially going to reset the timeline, and there's rumors about, Zod killing Kal-El, and then so Kara is taking his place essentially as the Superwoman, Supergirl of the universe or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
And I saw that on some other show.
Flash movie is we're going to end up with Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman. And I'm like, These are choices, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting.
This is what Cal came on for, to discuss the future of DC and Warner Brothers.
I'm totally down to chat DC, and I'm frustrated with you, Jesse. Like I want Henry Cavill just as much as the next guy. But how long? When's the last time we've seen him on film? 2017. I'm not counting the Snyder Cut. What was it, 2017 when Justice League came out? That was 5 years ago. Yeah. And you're telling me we have not gotten a somewhat pseudo sequel to Man of Steel in almost a decade? In a decade, we have not gotten any time to follow up to Superman where it's just Superman.
Even announced or even tried to announce. Like they haven't even entertained Man of Steel 2.
And folks have been attached to Superman, like directors, for years now. Like
you had
the guy that did
Matthew Vaughn wanted to.
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn, the guy that did
Matthew Vaughn,
right? Like that, and like J.J. Abrams, like all these different folks had been attached to that, and nothing. And we've gotten since 2013. We got a new Batman by then. Like we dumped Affleck, and we're like, let's do Robert Pattinson, which I'm not mad at. I loved the Batman. I think it's borderline perfect, but no Superman. That's what grinds my gears. Maybe that's why I like Superman and Lois so much.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten a Superman, and even when they did the Crisis events with the Arrowverse,
yes,
like Brandon Routh putting on the Ultimate Edition or whatever that
the pseudo Kingdom Come.
Yeah, the Kingdom Come. That's what it is. That's what the storyline was, and he looked awesome. And it's like, dude, you could be Superman, because even his movie, in my opinion, I like the character piece of what Superman Returns was.
Same.
It didn't have a ton of action, and it didn't really make sense. What he was fighting was a giant fucking kryptonite island. But I like him as
this feels like the dumbest comment in the world, but like I wish Superman Returns wasn't what it was, and it wasn't Superman 5, and it was Brandon Routh in a Superman movie.
They reboot it instead of continuing.
Yeah,
right.
Because that is a continuation of the Christopher Reeve Superman, which not a lot of people realize. I don't know, because apparently Reeve had gone off in space for 5 years before Brandon Routh came back. That's kind of the story beat of it.
And it sucks because like it's directed by Redacted, and Lex Luthor is played by Redacted. So
can we say that? Can we say that when the season starts up again?
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, that was directed by Brett Redacted. Or Brian Redacted.
Like it's
or Woody redacted.
I hate the legacy that movie has because people were so quick to poo-poo it. Like, and maybe in hindsight, and again, like I didn't watch that movie when it came out, and I watched it later, and I'm like, this is cool. Like, it's not like super punchy, whatever.
I
Action,
think
like
I
how
have
we
a
want
problem
the
with
character to be.
post Lois Superman. I think that's the common theme I'm starting to find out is like the second
Post
Superman gets
Lois, you
in.
mean?
What? Like
You
the
said
like
post Lois.
once
Superman?
he gets involved with
Oh,
Lois,
gotcha. Okay.
my interest wanes because I think
Oh.
one of the
Word.
very
You don't
few
like to see him
qualms-
happy.
You don't like
You
Lois
don't
Lane?
like. Why don't
Jesse
why
doesn't
don't
like
you
Lois
like?
Lane
Why don't
confirmed.
you
No.
like Clark to be
To
happy?
be fair, I really don't. In the new 52 and the newer animated movies and stuff, Clark and Diana have been getting together, and I ship that way harder.
Nope,
than
you are.
Lois Lane.
You know what, guys? This was fun. No, Jesse. That's
Yeah.
the one thing I don't like about Justice League War is that they were shipping Wonder Woman and Superman. The same thing for the
Justice League War is like
Atlantis
top 3
one.
animated films.
Oh no, it's great. That movie's incredible.
By
Like
DC.
I just rewatched like the rest of that universe, like
That's a
everything
lot.
up to
That
Apocalypse.
quickly became a lot of movies. I still haven't seen Apocalypse War.
Apocalypse War is fucking insane.
I've seen
I
clips
watched-
from it, and I was like, I don't think I want to watch
It's
this.
rated R. I'll tell you that.
I
Yeah,
think
I
I
know.
watched random inserts. I didn't watch them all like in order because I know it's a story beat. I think I saw Apocalypse War. Is that?
It's a lot of
That-
Constantine.
Yeah, I was gonna say it involves Constantine at the end, right? And
Yeah,
then
he's
they
like
do
the
kinda
co-lead,
Dark,
yeah.
Justice League Dark. Yeah, I like Red Sun. Red Sun was cool. I haven't seen all of the DC animated. I started watching them when HBO Max started had the whole catalog, and I just didn't make my way through them all.
Every time I see animated Constantine, though, and it's Matt Ryan, I'm just butthurt all over again because I was into that show.
Same, dude. Same. Fuck you, NBC. No, I don't.
Dude, no, for real though.
At least
And everyone's
CW
like,
picked him back up though.
so many people
Right.
talk about Keanu
Years
Reeves
later.
Constantine, and I'm like, the disrespect on Matt Ryan's name.
I want to put
Go ahead.
bring Preston's chat up here because he threw in some biddies. Throw your biddies in the chat. We want to see your bits. Recent live action adventures don't make sense to me. They release great animated shows for all the heroes, and there's DC does great animated, like fantastic animated.
Young
Marvel has
Justice.
nothing on DC's animated stuff. Nothing.
Or games until Spider-Man. Like that was it.
Yeah. DC doesn't have an equivalent to Feige.
I want to
either
live in
no
that
one's willing
timeline where
to do
Kevin
the
Feige
job.
ran DC.
Right. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Dude, Star Wars
Either no
doesn't
one's
have a
willing to
Kevin
do the
Feige
job, or Warner Brothers, AT&T, Time Warner, they don't want to let someone do the job. They want to have their own
I
control over it.
hope that Zaslav at Discovery gives Warner Brothers, DC, and all their massive properties a huge enema because Harry Potter or the Wizarding World needs a fixin'. The DC universe needs a fixin'. They need to get in there and they need to get some creatives involved because I feel like so many things that are happening are business-based decisions that are giving us subpar results.
Yeah.
Hecklin's a great Superman. I love his Clark too. Like it's he's the guy right now. But
I watched
the damn
Tyler Hecklin's
cons-
good.
All-Star Superman.
I watched
Also
Road to
Superman's
Perdition
awesome.
for the first time a few weeks ago.
Which
and
one?
He was really good. Road to Perdition. He plays Tom
Oh,
Hanks'
yeah.
kid in that movie. And he was good. And I never saw like Teen Wolf when it was on MTV or something, VH1.
Yeah.
I never saw that, so I didn't know much about him other than he was in some random like teen rom-com type movies. But I like him as Superman. He plays a great, subdued, nice guy, but also he can get amped when he needs to.
Is
And
Subdued
how he acts,
related to
it's like-
Sub-Zero? Is that his brother, Subdued?
Yeah,
Some-
the alternate
yes,
universe.
But
but DOOD, dude.
Right.
when he gets like super amped and he's all like pissed off and stuff, I think that's why like you bring up such a good point, Sean.
Not as good of a point as Lego does.
The Clark Kent that like he's just nice guy, cool dude. Like I think Hecklin portrays that perfectly on TV. And then when he has to be all pissed off and stuff, like I'm almost like scared. And like I think I really like how he plays the character. Same thing for Elizabeth Tulloch. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
She plays Lois
That's
Lane on that
Tulloch,
show.
yeah.
And she's
The-
she's the shit.
the irony for me is Superman to me feels like a cinematic character.
Sure.
Where like in a lot of their like Superman stories can be self-contained in like 2 hours because they're big epics. Whereas Batman, I would love to see a high quality Batman show. Like I feel like Batman belongs on TV and Superman belongs in the movies. So like this feels super swapped that we just got the Batman, now we're getting Superman and Lois. I was like, no, the $200 million needs to be shoved into Superman, and we can get a gritty, grounded detective series. It's like 10 episodes on HBO Max. But you know,
In what world would you ever imagine that a motherfucking Justice League movie wouldn't have cracked $1 billion?
the one where I could get into
they had just done so poorly in the lead up to that, and like the big three still to this day are Superman, Batman, in my opinion, and Spider-Man. Those are the big three superheroes in the world. And you got Superman and Batman, and you bring in Wonder Woman, and you can't crack $1 billion because they should just shit the bed so bad.
Well, yeah, I think Doctor Strange was more successful than Justice League. Keep your mind, like, try to wrap your head around that.
Maybe, yeah.
I
didn't know Hecklin voiced Sephiroth for. Are we talking about Kingdom Hearts?
I'm thinking probably Advent Children, maybe.
Well, I don't know if that's true. Yeah, but... or the 7 remake.
The lead up to Justice League as well is like you have the Batman Soups easily cracked $1 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like Suicide Squad, that was very successful. You get like, yeah, Wonder Woman came out later,
Academy Award winning Suicide Squad.
But you're telling me that Wonder Woman by herself made more money than the entire ensemble piece.
Yeah,
that we got, you know, like
and Aquaman too.
And Aquaman, like that rattles my brain. And I think that's where like audiences smartened up and they're like, yo, this movie looks ass and we're not going to go see it.
Yeah.
And it showed, and DC's like, you know what? Let's drop it all. And it's like, wait, no. It's not what we meant. Like, just do better, or don't give Zack Snyder the reins just to take it away from him and then give it back. Don't do that. Don't do all that shit. They needed Kevin Feige bad. And it still doesn't look like they have one. That's why
when they announced Jeff Johns, I thought that was going to be it, but that turned out to just blow up in everybody's faces. He's not made for any kind of executive position. Because I'm a fan of a lot of his comic work, but there's a difference between writing comics and running studio. Apparently,
did he have any type of like prior film or television experience before that, or was it just him?
I mean, he might have done some writing on some shows. I don't know if he actually has any like real studio experience.
Running an entire film division.
Yeah. Film division. Well, what was Feige's background? Right, he's been producing Marvel movies since the late 90s.
Feige's name is on the first X-Men movie.
Right. So that was 2000, but before then, Blade, was he part of Blade 98?
That I don't know if he was a part of Blade, but I know he was involved in X-Men, Spider-Man, and slowly started making his way up. Like I think Ghost Rider. Like, not that everything was good, but he didn't have as much control over.
Yeah,
I don't
and that
like
was 10 years before.
I don't like how you
Marvel
said not
Studios.
that everything was good after you said Ghost Rider. I don't like how you said that. That's because that implies Ghost Rider is not good, and that's not the truth. But Sean, you were saying you had a good point.
Well, I was just saying.
You still like Italian food?
I was just saying, like that was before. That was 10 years before the MCU became a thing, right? Because when the first 2 movies came out, they didn't know where they were going with it. They didn't actually have Marvel Studios like established.
Iron Man came out 10 years after Blade.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about it. It's weird to think about. A lot happens in 10 years. And then 10 years after Iron Man, we got Infinity War.
Yeah.
So you're
Part
telling
of the
me
journey is the end.
20 years, Blade. Imagine like 1998, you're going to see Blade opening night, and someone walks up to you and says, in 20 years, we're going to get Iron Man, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain America, all fighting Thanos, and all these portals are going to open, and Doctor Strange is there, and it's this whole thing, and then there's
someone says, "Oh, it sounds like a cute cartoon."
Right.
Captain Marvel shows up, and there's a tree and a raccoon,
and she talks, and he can only say five words, and it's this whole thing.
I am Groot. We are Groot.
Like it's a whole thing.
Speaking of Blade, Allison Salomone's just did her, I think, first watch through of the Blade trilogy. That's an experience. I have a fondness for those films to varying degrees.
The first Blade is one of the best comic book openings that a lot of people forget about.
Absolutely. Yeah, once you've seen the Blood Rave, you never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking about that with my roommate, like because we were talking about plans we're talking about doing something tomorrow. I'm like, yo, if we can find like a Blade like Blood Rave, like that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yes. You're on the hunt. Please send pics to the group chat.
I'm the Daywalker. That's what I'm doing right now. When I get off of this, I'm gonna go fight vampires.
Chris Anthony, the Daywalker Lopez.
Preston, he is indeed. I was convinced. Okay, when Blade 3 came out, I was like, that's Thor right there. Triple H. That's our
Wasn't
Thor.
that a thing at one point? I think he auditioned.
He might have been. It was him or Edge, I think, just because they had the long hair. It was the muscular build with the long hair. And I think that everyone was just like, oh, it has to be a wrestler. You need some big,
need some jack dude.
Right.
Exactly. I'm Thor, God of Thunder.
One of the best lines in not only comic book but cinema history is some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. That's.
I thought you were gonna say another because
Jake,
that's also
keeping the nicknames going.
Yeah.
You wear it well, buddy.
Dropping Thunder. What the fuck?
Lego says I went to a vampire themed rave with that song from the opening of Blade playing. I was ready to get that dark gift.
You are braver than I. But
that must have been so rad. Oh my god.
Wait,
back to Constantine. I'm pissed though.
Okay.
No, go ahead, just.
I was just gonna say, what's the better rave music though? Is it the Blood Rave or is it whatever the hell was playing when Zoe Kravitz is doing her like head bob walk through the iceberg lounge in the Batman?
Blood Rave. Wait, no.
I don't know, dude. Every time I watched the Batman, I was like jiving.
Wait, no.
I don't know the answer to this, but I know someone who might, and his name is Maxwell.
Yeah.
Hey,
Maxwell, have you gone to a Blood Rave?
I have Hard Mountain Dew.
Ooh, is it yummy?
It doesn't taste like alcohol.
Did you know that dyed hair does not make you more attractive in any way? I heard in recent studies.
What doesn't?
Dyed hair.
You're wrong. Oh, sorry. Oops.
Given current feelings about what's happening on screen, I disagree.
There's a nap.
You had to be there.
I'm going to call the front desk.
You had to be there.
I have been to a couple of blood raves in my day.
See, another thing that adds to the list of like why I want to be like Maxwell. going to blood raves, that sounds like a fucking hoot. But them hard Mountain Dews though, I'm intrigued. What flavors do they come in? Is it like Baja Blast and the other one?
This is Baja Blast.
I have black.
There's black cherry. There's regular, and there's watermelon.
Oh,
and
so they
do not taste like alcohol, so it's very dangerous.
Well, I can taste the alcohol, but maybe you just drink more than me.
What's the percent on them?
5%.
Oh, that's fun.
5% is the dangerous level.
What's up, Maxwell? Was that Amber? No.
Look at this little loaf I got right here.
Hello, loaf.
Just hanging out.
You have a loaf.
He's never that calm.
That was not Amber. I hang out with other people with colorful hair. Ow!
Anyways, you guys missed because you weren't here. We just did our review
mango
of
chili.
I do love a good chili.
Halo, Moon Knight, and we talked about Lost City, and we are ceasing conversations on Morbius. But did you guys see Lost City?
I did see the Lost City.
I did, yeah, I saw it.
I thought it was quite enjoyable.
It's my computer. Anyway, hi.
Was it as fun as it looked?
Howdy.
I'm like,
Lost City?
I think so.
My review of The Lost City is I'm still laughing at Bowen Yang trying to tell Sandra Bullock how to sit on the stool. And in some ways, the movie was all downhill from there, but that's the hardest I've laughed at a movie in a minute. So, it's fair enough.
Was Bowen Yang in the trailers for it?
He's only in the beginning.
He plays like a host.
Yeah.
I love Bowen Yang and SNL. So I didn't know that.
as much as Lauren and I both loved it when we were heading out to the car, that is immediately what she brought up. She's like, I love Sandra Bullock's physical comedy. Mainly her getting onto that chair. And I was like, why was that the place?
I will say this. I think it's a better composed adventure movie than Uncharted was.
I agree.
I can agree with that.
I kind of liked the whole part. Spoilers are okay, yeah?
Yeah, we've been spoiling stuff all
Okay.
If anyone wants to avoid
kinda
Lost
like the
City,
fact-
the romantic comedy spoilers.
Right, yeah.
It's not. We're not.
Listen,
See, you can spoil the
not
movie, but you
only
can't
under the
spoil the
influence of this,
experience.
bear with me.
True.
Yeah, we've ingested other things this evening as well.
I have to address Ambling really quick. It says, how does it compare to Jungle Cruise? Personally, I preferred Lost City.
I liked Jungle Cruise better, but it depends on what you're looking for.
I will say this.
I think that's very fair.
Sandra and Channing have better romantic and sexual chemistry than The Rock and Emily Blunt did.
Yeah.
So as a romantic comedy,
I agree with that.
The Lost City is better. I thought the action and adventure elements were stronger in Jungle Cruise. So it
Jungle
depends what
Cruise
you're
is
looking
more of an action adventure.
Yeah.
And Lost City is more of a rom-com that has adventure elements.
It's
I agree.
if a rom-com got lost in the Jungle Cruise. Like,
Yeah.
And I said to my friends who I saw it with after, the rom-com parts are my favorite parts. And when it veered too much into a typical Lost in the Jungle adventure movie and stopped being funny for a minute, I thought it wasn't as good. But we may actually see it again tomorrow.
oh yes, I would.
All of the action bits in Lost City were played for laughs.
Yeah.
Versus Jungle
Um,
Cruise, they were actually trying to have
that's fair.
legit fights and stuff. So I think because every time Channing was running, he's like, "Oh no!" Like it was all physical comedy.
It's so quick, but there's a shot, or like it's really quick, but like you see Brad Pitt in the trailer. So Chris, I'm not gonna try to run everything for you.
Oh no, yeah, I knew he was. Yeah,
Brad Pitt's running around kicking ass, and Channing Tatum's just kind of following behind him. And there's a part where like Brad Pitt like knocks somebody out, and as he's falling, Channing Tatum gets this one punch in finally. He just like punches the guy as he's going down.
As he's going down.
And then that becomes a bit. And I'm like, oh, that's so great.
And then Pitt's like, why'd you have to? He was already out. You didn't have to hit him again.
The great thing about Channing Tatum, and I think Channing Tatum has quietly developed into one of our more enjoyable to watch young leading actors, is when he first hopped on the scene, people thought that he was just going to be a bland pretty boy. Yeah. But his comic timing in this, and especially in 21 and 22 Jump Street, the dude is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like
he's more funny than like anything else. He also has really good physicality. And
yeah, well,
there's a dancing
right.
scene.
It's because of his dancing background, and I'm so glad they're making Magic Mike 3 because
are they?
Magic Mike XXL is legitimately on my top 10 films of the prior decade. I think it's amazing.
I gotta watch them.
It is. The first one is good. The second one is so sex positive. It's so joyous. It's such a celebration of inclusivity, of body positivity, of gender, of sex identity. It's such a wonderful movie, and like really sexy dancing, like Matt Bomer stripping while singing "Untitled" by D'Angelo.
You guys know what I've really been enjoying.
Yeah, exactly.
The first one, right?
Can I just say my one comment on the Lost City before you roll down Magic Mike XXL Boulevard? Thanks. Oh my God. Could you stop?
I just spit it out, Space Dog.
It's great show. So the part that I really liked was when she finally like let go of her deceased husband and dropped the ring into the tomb. After they had found out that the crown of fire was actually shells. I was like, ah.
Oh, you're going full spoilers.
They said I could.
That's true.
See?
Chris is here. Like, I don't know what that means. That's fine.
I'm going to forget
in
approximately half an hour.
I'm just, I don't even see Chris. I just see Chance.
Oh, yeah. And Daniel Radcliffe. Absolutely. 10 of 10. I bought into him. I was like,
yeah. I was saying that because I haven't seen them I haven't seen Swiss Army Man or Guns Akimbo and like a bunch of other things he's done. I haven't seen The Woman in Black, but like he played a very similar character in like Now You See Me Too, where he's the villain, I guess. He's he's the quirky rich guy, but he plays it so well, and it's such a departure from seeing him as Harry Potter for 10 years. So I love it every time.
It's almost as if he had his shot at playing Draco.
Hey.
I really want to say,
But-
because you
I
guys
think
were
Harry
talking.
Potter made him crazy, so he just like
He's a
really acts it out.
He's a really impressive actor. He's done a lot
Mhm.
of stage work. He's actually going to be doing an off-Broadway production of Sondheim's Merrily We Roll Along in like a month or so.
He's in that show on TBS, right?
Yeah.
Can we go see
the
it?
Plays like a
one
priest or something.
It's like
the
Can we
angel
buy
an old-
for tickets?
Yes.
with
like
what's his
Sleepy
name?
something. I forget what it's called. I know what you're talking about, Sean.
Oh, it has the girl from
Steve
Blockers.
Buscemi. Are you talking about the one Steve
Yeah,
Buscemi?
Steve
Oh my God,
Buscemi.
what's it called?
They're like
He did-
angels or something.
Yeah.
I know exactly. Yeah.
He did the bit on stage where he was dancing to like she's coming around the mountain. Do you remember?
Horns is good. He's done a lot of interesting movies. His career has sort of
Miracle
let him
Workers.
travel all over the place. Yeah, Miracle Workers. That's
That's-
exactly right.
I get it.
Thanks,
Um,
Andy
'Cause-
King
'cause
in the
I think
chat.
'cause
It-
he farts a lot.
There is
Nice.
a different timeline where all of the Harry Potter kids, but him especially, were typecast and didn't really
We know
get
shit.
work and this, that, and the other thing. But he's really gone out of his way to just fuck around and do what he wants. Kind of like
Fuck
what
around
Robert
and find
Pattinson
out.
did post Twilight.
Was he in?
He was
This
in
is
Harry
the end?
Potter first too.
I think I've only seen it once.
Yeah, This Is the End is a great movie.
It is.
I think I've only seen it the once. I just remember the Backstreet Boys.
I've seen it multiple times.
It's really the most worthwhile part.
I disagree, but that's fine.
You like Channing Tatum in the gimp suit? Is that your part, Jesse?
you mean Channing Tate Yum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just humping Danny
I
McBride's
continually
leg.
forget that that's him. I
Ooh,
was like,
that is
oh
him.
yeah, that is
Okay.
him.
And by we I mean I was ranking my Sandy B couples earlier, and I think Ryan Reynolds is on top, and then Benjamin Bratt and Channing's on the bottom. How do you rate? And you can include other ones. I'll allow it. Feel free to sound off.
I mean,
And then we were trying to figure
my
out who
favorite
was
Sandy
in
B
The
couple
Blind Side. We
is
forgot it was
her
Tom
and
Brown.
Kate Blanchett in Ocean's 8. Because if you're gonna sit there
Mm.
and tell me they don't radiate some
Okay.
intense
Yes.
queer energy with the way they touch each other, and they had great chemistry, but also her and
It's a lot of
Keanu
fun,
in
too.
Speed.
Also who?
Sorry.
Her and Keanu in Speed.
Yeah,
I was going to say
Mhm.
Keanu, yeah.
But like
And
Keanu
the,
will always
the-
win basically everything.
the
because
Lake
of
House?
Keanu.
Yeah, her and Keanu have done
Like
a
us.
couple movies together, but
Right.
yeah, I really think her and Kate Blanchett is where it's at.
I'll allow
Ocean's
it.
8 got
I like
way
it.
too much shit. I really enjoyed that.
Ocean's 8 is really good.
I just
I-
finally saw it. Where were we on our
I
way?
I think
We were
I
on our
like
way to Vegas,
everything except for Rihanna in that movie.
Excuse me?
I didn't like her acting in the movie. Rihanna was in it, right? She played 8 Ball.
I actually really
thought
kind of
I
bought
didn't.
into that
I thought
too.
she was good.
She seemed like a natural kind of person of that.
Yeah, we don't fuck with 8 Ball in this house.
I just don't like it.
Like,
Sean, I
that
stopped
80s.
listening after you said your shit about Rihanna. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, someone's talking shit about Rihanna? No, not in front of me. I'm good.
Well, 'cause,
I
it made me
prefer
think of
Battleship,
cool
okay?
rappers
I
that
think
That's
she's-
a damn lie. Now you're lying.
I actually preferred Rihanna in Larry.
No, he froze.
Uh-oh. See, because y'all talking shit about Rihanna.
I actually preferred Rihanna and everything because she's a
Yeah.
queen, and we do not diss queens in this house.
You don't.
This is a hotel.
I think she's a wonderful musician.
That's the correct answer.
Oh, did you mean this house?
Yeah.
This house.
Jesse,
The
you're back.
house of
What
Wing,
were you saying?
Wing Swift.
I said I think I prefer her in Valerian, City of a Thousand Planets or whatever.
Was she in that?
I think
I
so.
haven't
She's
saw
in
Who
that.
was in that?
Never saw that.
That's a movie.
I mean, now I gotta watch it for Rihanna. So speaking of Rihanna, she has a song on the Star Trek Beyond soundtrack called Sledgehammer, and it's incredible, by the way. But she was totally supposed to play the Sophia Boutella part? Like, or you think they must have offered it to her?
I
She's on
think
the
she.
soundtrack.
I think she
Maybe.
talked about it and wasn't available. Yeah.
I
think,
do really quickly
J-Lo?
have
Love
to.
it.
I have to apologize to 25% of the voters on our poll because they said that
poll?
they have seen Morbius. So I'm sorry.
Cool.
No, it was just a blanket apology. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just a
like-
blanket.
I think I have
apology to
not
everyone
seen
involved.
Morbius, but Trevor Matson, who does The Basement with Mara, he had the best tweet I've seen about it. He said, "I just saw Morbius. I don't think I like movies anymore."
Yeah, that's what I was bringing up. That's what I talked about that
Jesse
too.
brought
I
that
was
up
like,
earlier.
oh shit.
Right?
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Like, it's
This will be
that
this
bad.
will be a recurring bit to say, check out my review with this awesome thumbnail to absolutely just tell you what I thought of the movie.
Just go and like the video. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I went to like the video.
Yeah, just go
That's
like the
for-
video.
Thank you,
Just
Chris. You're
give
doing
me
the
a
Lord's
view and a
work.
like.
Yes, Reef. So Bates Motel, which I loved, I've seen every episode. The last season, they finally caught up with the Psycho timeline, and she plays Marion Crane in the last season of Bates Motel, and she's great.
So we need more musicians in these hotel shows because we had Lady Gaga in the American Horror Story hotel
Yes.
season.
Yeah, if you have not seen Bates Motel, I highly recommend it. Vera Farmiga and Freddie Highmore are great.
I started it.
Duly noted.
I've not
I
seen
guess I
Bates
should finish
Motel.
it, huh?
I've
Yeah,
never
well,
seen
and
the
it
original
was
Psycho.
showrun by Carlton Cuse, who did Lost as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're really close to where the Bates Motel was in Psycho 4.
This is a hotel room.
No?
I
This is
I,
an
I
envelope?
have to be the party pooper. Your boy has to go get ready for work because he's a night owl now. Well, but
Pooper.
it was a pleasure to see all of y'all and to talk about this this great person that we call Rihanna, this queen, Rihanna.
We don't talk about Riri.
No, I'll happily talk about Rihanna. Happily, I'm waiting for her album. But
Did I just break you?
yes, I must leave. I still have to watch Bates Motel. Bye, guys.
Love you.
Later, bud.
Love you guys.
Thanks
so
for hopping
much.
on.
No doubt.
I just
Now
broke
that
him.
he's gone.
The always beautiful, always wonderful Chris Anthony Lopez.
He's great.
So
If Hollywood is listening, I like to track trends. And I've come to the realization that Hollywood should just stop putting Jared Leto in movies. And
Yeah,
then
it's true.
maybe things would be a little bit better.
I cannot speak to his personal issues on stage or on set, rather. He was great in Morbius. I'll keep saying this. He was not the issue. It's everything around him. He carried the movie, and I didn't hate it until like the third act. That's when it falls apart. It becomes a worse CGI mess than Wonder Woman, worse than Black Panther, where it's just like wonky looking. You cannot tell. It looks like a Transformer.
Well, they
Legit looks like
sounds like a
Transformers
lot
are
of
just-
money, but they only spent $75 million, which compared to other comic book movies is at least half the budget. So if you're still trying to do a lot of CGI with less money, it's not going to look as good.
I've never been a big Leto fan, but when they cast him as Morbius, what I know of Morbius, mainly from actually the animated Spider-Man cartoon, but I was like, yeah, that seems like the pick. And when the first trailer came out, I was like, oh, so they nailed the look of Morbius. And then the more footage came out, the more I started getting the ick, and I think I was right.
There was a brief period where I was excited for it just because I'm a whore for vampires.
I'm just gonna let that sit.
I thought there was more to
it. Sherry, yeah, I've never seen American Horror Story. I'm not typically one to go towards like horror type scary stuff. And but I've heard Gaga was great in the show.
She is good. That's one of the better seasons.
Yeah. Good to know.
I only got about like halfway through the second season of American Horror Story. My attention span is notably poor.
It's essentially like an anthology, like recurring cast, right? They just keep bringing the same people back.
Yeah,
for the most part.
It's almost like a theater troupe's repertory players, where every season they'd put on a new show, and at a certain point they started bringing characters back and interconnecting some of the seasons. And then you'd have an isolated season where like Jessica Lange came back, Sarah Paulson came back a lot.
Evan Peters, right?
All these different actors and actresses would come and play different roles.
Right.
What have you guys, because we didn't have it playing anywhere near me yet, have you guys had a chance to see Everything Everywhere All the Time yet?
I've seen it twice.
Please tell me about it without spoiling anything. I finally have tickets for this coming week. I'm very excited for it.
It is extraordinary. It's one of the most innovative, ambitious, like fully 4 movies I've seen in a while. And I think it's going to be studied and analyzed and discussed for a long time. It feels like a moment for me. I don't think it's any secret that it deals with the multiverse, so it's exploration of that. Its portrayal of the dynamics of a Chinese American family. Michelle Yeoh is incredible. Like, I know it's March, but she should be remembered by critics groups and whatnot at the end of the year. But the biggest surprise for me, and I don't want to say his name wrong because I have been drinking, the kid who played
Short Round
and then was in Goonies, who basically, you know, I watched an interview with him on Kimmel where he said in the 80s he decided to step away from acting, not because he didn't want to do it, but because there were no roles for an Asian American actor in their teens or early 20s. And then he said he went and saw Crazy Rich Asians in theaters a couple times when it came out, and he cried every time and had serious FOMO and said, to me, that was a moment. And I called up my people and got an agent, and then he booked this film, and he's extraordinary. And I don't want to give anything away. It is a movie filled with surprises. Martial arts, wild comedy, and
it seems like the whole package. I've heard like it's legitimately, when it chooses to be funny, it's funny.
It's hilarious. It's also, you know, it's very R-rated. It's not a family movie. But
it's a movie about family.
It is. It's a family movie, you know, if you don't mind like butt plug jokes and stuff like that.
I think if anything, Turning Red needed more butt plug jokes.
We are talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once. Very spoiler free.
Probably faster to say that out loud.
If and when it comes to your city, and I think it expands everywhere next week, the 8th.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. So my local theater that's like 15 minutes away, they're just slightly smaller, and it's smaller AMC, and they're like, nope, we're not doing it at all. And so I'm gonna have to drive for it, but that's okay because I think it's worth it.
It is worth it.
Reef, I haven't yet, but I enjoyed the movies for what they were. They were fine, you know, Tom Cruise vehicles, but Alan Richardson, I love him. I think he's fantastic. So I do want to see it when I get to it.
I watched all of the first season. It's definitely the portrayal of the character in terms of brute force physicality. Alan Richardson's look is more novel accurate. But it was like a solid 8-episode murder mystery thriller show. It's not great, but it's like very much a dad show.
Okay. Were there many butt plug jokes?
Not in Reacher.
That's all we accept now.
Not in Reacher.
I love the common theme about
he held it in for a while, though,
that have been watching the show for a healthy length of time with my name right here, continue to misspell it. I think that's what is greatly appreciated. It's 5 letters. It is a common name. It is. I have no excuses for you.
Yeah, it's JESSIE and SHAWN.
Yeah, it's actually JESSIEY. It's actually 7 letters.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. Well, guys, thank you all. It's been a shorter episode, kind of, but a naturally shorter episode. Jesse and Sean.
I feel like that would be pronounced Jesse.
Oh, you should put an E at the end of Sean too.
So
just really
Shawnee?
Yes.
No, like I know a person with the name Sean with an E at the end. I'm like, why? I don't understand. So just to make it, legit.
Well, I've been watching a lot of Sean Spicer, I believe. Is that his name? Spicer? Psych?
Sean Spicer is the former corrupt press secretary of the Donald Trump administration.
Hey, hold on. Hang on. I'm doing a quick Google.
Sean Spencer.
There we go.
Character on Psych.
From Psych. I was like, where are you going with that?
But you know what the thing is, Jesse? I've heard it both ways.
I have watched enough of that to get that.
There it is.
Hey, Vapion, how's it going? I just got here. I can talk like 30 minutes on Moon Knight, if not more. We're so glad for that. Please scrub back to the beginning. Watch our Moon Knight conversation. It was a pretty good one.
Or hang out until tomorrow morning when we're going to upload the Moon Knight
That's true. We are going to do a little croppity crop and post it on its own.
If you are here hanging out, we appreciate you coming here. We're switching it from our regularly scheduled speakeasy hangout to we don't only have so much time to stream throughout the week because, you know, jobs and work and things. So we're going to like devote a portion of the beginning of the show.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Review.
That is the new review
and
show.
then like a review. And then depending on how many things came out in the week. And then we're going to chop those up, upload them on their own. And then we have this hangout and we talk to our lovely friends afterwards. And we just shoot the shit for as long as we feel like it. Coming on the back half. That's what Jesse just said.
And the hashtag we have going for this episode is hashtag
double
double it.
Outtake Parks and Rec.
Oh my god, yes.
We all love a comeback.
Yeah, okay. I know where it's going. Let's not, so anybody that is just getting on here, please like the video if you haven't already. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, share the video. Let's make this a big episode. And Streamlabs is there for next time. Thank you for everyone that donated to Streamlabs already today. We appreciate you, AJ, and our Russian mail order bride that's on there as well.
I love AJ.
Kubishkin Anatoly.
That's the one.
I love everyone in the chat. AJ, Lego, Vapon, Cheryl, not Jake.
Well, except for Flick and Reel. Flick and Reel's a real douchey nozzle. So join us next week, next Friday night when we talk about Moon Knight episode 2, Halo episode 3, and we'll see what else we have going on there. Maybe some movie talks, stuff like that. But hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Success.
In just 11 hours, we will be having our news and views episode with myself, Chris Anthony Lopez, maybe Sean Wingblade.
Maybe.
I have a lot of stuff to do in the morning, but I'll try.
See how it goes. But anyways, good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Maxwell, Amber, thank you so much for coming on by.
We'll
see you guys on the Flip to Flop pit stop. Bye. Just kidding. May the what's the keep it real? That's the catchphrase.
This is the sound of dun, 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 dun. It's the Flick and Reel Show.